Enforcer is not an RPG. Enforcer is a tabletop wargame skirmish RPG thing inspired, well, I can't say really inspired, it is Inquisitor, an old Warhammer 40k specialist game. Inquisitor is arguably the bedrock for what Dark Heresy would become. You're a bunch of dudes and dudettes in service to an Inquisitor and do his dirty work as he looks menacingly at people for breaking the holy word of the Emperor. Enforcer, on the other hand, is about the Enforcers and their cadre, who are a bunch of dudes and dudettes who do his dirty work as he looks menacingly at people for breaking the holy word of the Catholic Emperor. Coming from Stormforge Productions, most notably Burnt Jester, this one's a bit of a mixed bag of tricks. At its heart, it's a roll under d20 with d6 advantage and disadvantage dice. Not too complicated, but we're just getting started, because remember, this is a Wargame Skirmish RPG, and as such, more familiar with wargaming, such as having a completely open map and being very focused on combat. Each of the Goon Squad will have their primary stats and secondary stats, with HP being tied to their health stat and AP being tied to their equipment. Each of the team will choose an archetype from one of the super archetypes: Enforcer, Scholars, Faithful, Warriors, Outcasts, Law, Unfortunates, and Heretics. Or you can also play a regular citizen. So let's make John Enforcer and Joe Citizen. John is an apprentice enforcer and can either roll for his stats or select a baseline. Since John is boring, he keeps his base stats, and Joe isn't a coward though, so he rolls those dice. As an apprentice, John has 40 equipment requisition to spend on equipment. He can also spend 20 requisition, however, which isn't equipment requisition, but half of his total equipment requisition, which isn't requisition, to get all of his basic gear in the list. Since John is boring, he opts just to take the basic gear. Joe goes hard and fast with decent ballistic score, picking up a handgun toolkit, a few grenades, and some actual armor. He's ready to cut some gems. Each of these men will receive their basic perks, John receiving Natural Leader and Pre-Plan, while Joe gets Mobile Cover, Concealment, and Pack Mule. Alright, characters done! But not really, because your requisition, not equipment requisition, starts technically at 40 for each player, which you only learn about on page 63 of 103. After that, you get sent into the field. Most of the game is fairly simple. Roll to do a thing, and if you succeed, it happens. All bonuses and issues will be grand blesses and curses. While you will need to track some ammo, it's never going to be prohibitively complicated. Certain characters can even use psionic powers, and if you roll a crit on it, you'll roll on the feedback table, and everyone laughs as your head explodes. Silly casters. The fun is for gunmen. When you are actually hurt, you'll reduce your armor first, then your actual meat. If you're lucky, you'll be up and running. If you're not so lucky, you'll actually take an injury. Injuries prevent the character from being used in the campaign until a few days have gone by. But the main draw of the campaign is, well, the campaign, which has the GM form an area and force the band to sort out various scenarios in them, slowly and steadily turning the entire area into a free-for-all of sadness, misery, heresy, and darkness, prompting the entire scenario-driven adventure as the GM forces the retinue to confront treachery and rebellion in all shapes and forms. But I'll give you a secret about Enforcer. It's a skirmish warband TRPG, meaning that it's both a skirmish game and a TRPG, and they are both somewhat in conflict, both competing for page space and emphasis. Saying you have a 150-point list is a lot different than this is John Enforcer and Joe Citizen. And if you are prepared for that, then Enforcer does its job and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want a skirmish game or you just want a TRPG, it may feel a little confused. My name is Notepad Add-on, and this was Enforcer. If you like what I do here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the bishops of His Holiness for funding my one-way crusade. Godspeed, good luck, praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition.